set. All right. Darren, starting off, had a weekend off from actual match play, so full week of training, getting a couple guys back healthy. How's training gone this week as you prepare for another 2 games in 1 week?
Yeah, we need to get healthy. We have a couple guys that get back. Joel's back healthy and training, which is good. A couple other guys are still pretty banged up, but the kids have stepped up. Training's been good. We're very optimistic for tomorrow.
And then looking ahead to the Maryland Bobcats game, I don't believe the NISA season has started quite yet, but what have you been able to discern from that team and what are some expectations?
There's a lot of players on that team with USL experience. Some we know well. Ty and Poppy, we call him Kelvin and Wape now, but he's on that team. Kid Travis Ward that was at Greenville for a bit, and the kid Shan Sharma who played, he's trialed with us. So they're going to be motivated. They're a good team. They got good players. The kid Espinal, Darwin's their league MVP, so he scores goals. It's going to be a tough game.
Tactically, what are you expecting from a NISA team? Do you think it's going to be a more chippier matchup, or is it going to be something where more closely resembling a League One game?
Yeah, there's no question. It's going to be chippy. It's an Open Cup game. First of all, they're all chippy, and then second, there's this weird thing about NISA and USL and MLS Next Pro and all these different leagues. All of that weighs into it, and there are a lot of guys on that team that wanted to play with us. A lot of them have called us. They want to show us they should be here. So we know it's going to be chippy, but we're looking forward to it.
Of course, you had this week off. How was it in terms of just resetting the mentality for the guys? Obviously, a tough start to the season, but the Open Cup win thrown in there. How was it kind of just resetting that mentality for the guys and keep making sure they're mentally sharp for these upcoming weeks?
Yeah, there's two pieces of that. The first one is the long-term project that I keep talking about developing kids locally. That takes time, but we're all tired of losing the soccer games. We're all sick of that stuff. The reset happened naturally. To not get something out of the first 2 league games is really frustrating. The guys are frustrated. We're all very ready to put our stamp on the year, and that's got to start with Maryland.
Talking about that mental side of the game, for young players that are coming to like Landon and others, how do you help them develop mentally to be prepared? Because they have the physical attributes, but how do you help develop them mentally?
I think a lot of times it's what you don't do as opposed to what you do. I'm no expert, but I've been doing it a long time, and sometimes those kids need breaks, okay? And it's not just physical breaks, because when you're 17, you can run around and do stuff probably that we can't when we're a little bit older. But when you're that age, you need a mental break from the pressure and the psychology of it, taking them out of games or not maybe starting. We sent Landon and Gabe down to Tampa to play with our U20 team, and they both did an excellent job. They made the all-league teams. Now they're ready to start trickling minutes into the first team. But to throw them right in 90 minutes all the time, they may not be ready. Griffin and Nicholas had incredible preseasons, so they got the benefit of starting and getting a lot of minutes to start with. We'll have to measure how much they can handle mentally. So a lot of times it's really what you subtract to help them grow as opposed to what you add.
Speaking of injuries, you said that Jao and Emmy are looking to come back. Well, how are you looking to use the Open Cup game to kind of integrate them back into the squad and getting games underneath their legs for the league season coming up?
Well, we know Joao will suit up. He'll be involved. At what level, I'm not sure yet. We'll make that decision tomorrow. Emmy is so close that it's frustrating. We've had him back so close 3 times, so we're being very cautious with him. We'll talk to doctors and stuff today, but he's very, very close to playing soccer.
Okay. There was one more question I wanted to ask you. Tactical wise, last year you made the shift to be more possession based, and we've seen that here. But we've also seen this team have their best success when they're being very direct, i.e., the goal in the Open Cup game that came from Jara. How are you kind of using the two to be, use the ball to your discretion, but also when it's time to be direct and get out on goal?
If you want to look at data, in both of the games and league games that we played in Spokane, we statistically dominated the game. In Tormenta, we statistically dominated the game. They scored the chances they took, and we didn't. If we score the goals that we should take, we win the games, and it's a different discussion. We're a possession-based team because we don't have the budget of other clubs in our league, which means I don't have the next guy to sub on. When Emmy's injured, there's no equivalent, right? If you're Lexington or some of these other teams, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that fit that bill. So that's why we're that way. The direct question about whether we go direct in the game or not, you'll see more of a balance from us. You're also going to see a little bit different on the opposite side of the ball, like what we're doing in the defending side of things, because everybody's frustrated and we got to use that frustration in a positive way. So I think you'll see a good game
And my last question for Jara, being your goalkeeper, sometimes his distribution is still growing. Sometimes it might be a weird ball that goes left or right. How are you helping him getting used to your system of, like for Akira last year, one of the things that we know, they always said that Akira could distribute a ball blindfolded. It put it on a dime. How are you helping Hara get to that level with Akira?
Pablo's training has been excellent. He's growing with his distribution, and he's getting better every day. You have to, in order to play the way that we play, our goalkeepers have to play a bit. But the flip side of it is we went after Pablo for a reason. One, he's an incredible leader, and two, he can ping a ball from one goal to the other, which allows us to also play direct. So there's the balance with him also. We're only 9 weeks in with him, so there are some things that have gone awry, but things also have gone awry in the past. So, if we find that we're statistically giving up too much at the back, we will go a little bit more direct. We will bypass lines. But right now, we're creating everything that we want to create. We're just not finishing it, and we got to shore that up.
And on the finishing part, how are you? Is it more of a mental thing just with the attackers up front of not just finishing, less than a physical thing?
Scoring goals is the hardest thing in the game.
Yeah.
You take a guy out of your team that is statistically number 1 or 2 in the league for 3 years, and then he's injured. It's difficult. And people say, "Oh, you only lean on Emmy." I would argue that the year that Matt Bentley had his best year and the best year that Jonathan Bolaños had here were because Emmy was being Emmy. It allowed somebody else to blossom. And right now, it's by committee, and nobody's gotten hot yet. So we'll see if the young guns can do it. And as Emmy gets healthy, we know he'll score more.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach.
You got it. Thanks, Elliot.